Hi, it's Dave. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the digital transformation and what kind of investment opportunities it provides. Alright, ARK Invest did a great video describing what they call the 5 trends of digital transformation. And let's go ahead and look at some of these clips.
ARK believes the digital transformation is in its earliest days. Listen in as two of our analysts break down why you should pay lots of attention to this investment opportunity. Reason 1. Streaming is shaping the future of content distribution.
Streaming technology is being used to deliver more and more content over the internet. With streaming, consumers have instant access to massive content libraries of video, audio, and games. ARK believes streaming is well on its way to becoming the primary technology behind content distribution, and as such is reshaping at-home and on-the-go viewing habits. What this could translate to is streaming revenue reaching almost $390 billion by 2024. That's up from an estimated $86 billion in 2019.
Streaming is huge and it's growing every year. Before probably the best way to get some information was Google search, but now more and more people are going to video and podcasts, and they're trying to establish some type of relationship and trust with the people that they're getting information. In some ways, Google is flooded with content farms and just anonymous articles by the millions. And sometimes it's hard to really know the author or what the background or context the author is coming from. However, when you get down to video or even sometimes audio podcasts, you get to know the person who's broadcasting and you really get to understand their values and their system. And it gives an extreme amount of context, which establishes trust. I definitely think the future is streaming. More and more people are going to video and audio to establish a connection and to get their best information from the best people they can find. And in many ways, I feel the streaming world and the video world is just getting started. In 10 years, it's just going to be massively bigger than it is right now. And video streaming can be the predominant way that people get their information and get their education and find even their entertainment.
Reason 2. Remote work is the new normal for enterprises and startups.
The coronavirus has forced companies to retool their workforce for remote work almost overnight. Working from home requires software that works anywhere, as well as new tools for collaboration. Collaboration and security are two verticals that's seen enormous growth as a result of remote work. Daily active users for Microsoft Teams grew from 20 million users to 75 million users in Q1 2020. Zoom meeting participants grew 30-fold to 300 million active participants. Meanwhile, Zscaler's cloud security traffic increased 3-fold.
Remote work is no longer just the future, but it is the present. It's weird how sometimes these pandemics have a strange way of altering behavior and changing what we're getting used to. For example, in Western culture with masks, no one was comfortable really wearing a mask out in public, but a pandemic changes everything. In a similar way, a pandemic has changed our perception and the cultural perception toward remote work. For me personally, I've always been a fan of remote work. I love the independence and I love the freedom that it provides. With the company that I run, we've always had a big focus on remote work. In fact, for probably the past 10 years, we do most of our work online and we rarely even meet each other in person. For me, actually, I think it increases my productivity and increases my enjoyment of just doing creative work. That said, I think remote work has hit kind of a tipping point. There are a lot of companies and organizations out there that weren't really interested in remote work, but the pandemic really forced them to try it out. And after they tried it out, all of these hurdles and obstacles were overcome. And a lot of people are getting used to it. I think remote work is here to stay. And I think a lot of companies are starting to benefit from that. For example, you have Zoom and Microsoft and even Google. A lot of companies that are providing remote work solutions are doing well. And if you notice, cloud computing, even during this pandemic, hasn't even skipped a beat. And I think that's one of the main reasons why the stock market has rewarded tech companies in the recent months.
Reason 3. The gaming ecosystem is rapidly expanding.
With live sports on hold, one industry we believe is going to see increased user engagement is online gaming. Instead of revenue cannibalization that is typically seen in the TV and music industries, new technologies like cloud gaming and live streaming are adding incremental value to the gaming industry. Live streaming in particular is seeing a bump in 2020. In fact, the average monthly hours watched on Twitch have exploded to 1.4 billion hours in 2020. That's up 56% from 2019. We believe this is an excellent sign for the overall gaming industry.
All right, we know that games have been very popular pre-pandemic, but with the pandemic, games are even becoming more popular. We know the future of games is very bright. However, I think what this video misses out on is the popularity of online education. Now, with so many people being forced to be educated online, from elementary school kids, junior high school, college students, and even working people are getting their job training and learning online, it seems like the whole world all at once is jumping into online education. Previously, I think people kind of had some reservation. They knew that education would be slowly moving online incrementally and maybe be a supplemental avenue for education. However, with the pandemic, I think there's a growing sense and realization that, maybe the main form of education could be online. And I think with that cultural mind shift, there lies a lot of opportunities. I think online education is still in its infancy, and we're going to see a lot of great innovation and startups and even creators and teachers spring up to create interesting platforms and education methods.
Reason 4. The services industry has embraced zero contact.
The services industry, which make up over 60% of global GDP, has been severely impacted by the coronavirus. Thankfully, a new wave of companies has found new ways to deliver services online. Food delivery sales have reached new highs in many markets. US food delivery sales in May more than doubled year on year. After gyms closed across the country, Peloton, the leading supplier of internet-connected fitness bikes, saw workout videos grow 150% year on year.
It's definitely interesting how this pandemic has forced a lot of services and things to move online. For example, with gyms being closed, Peloton and other online classes have really had an opportunity to gather new people and subscribers. Also, if you want to order some food or some groceries, it's much more common nowadays to open up Instacart or an app and order your groceries online. I think previously, pre-pandemic, people kind of thought of online ordering, especially like groceries, for example, is kind of a luxury item that's not necessary. But the pandemic made online grocery item like a necessity and something that a lot of people could justify spending money on. And I think this shift of thinking is starting to expand, where people are realizing that the world is much more connected than we realize, and we're able to transact and interact and get services online as well.
Reason 5. We believe social commerce is the next wave in e-commerce.
Social commerce combines the stickiness of online shopping with the network effects of social media. When implemented correctly, it can be a powerful growth driver. Today, social commerce makes up roughly 5% of the total e-commerce market, which ARC believes reached roughly $4.5 trillion in 2019. By 2025, we estimate that the space could balloon to $2.8 trillion, or roughly 19% of the estimated $14.7 trillion e-commerce market.
In Asia, social commerce has already been a big thing for many years. There's a lot more kind of maybe relational, mimetic behavior going on in Asia, where people like to follow the actions of others. And sure, there's a lot of that in the West as well. Already, like, people have been using social commerce, like for example, the Kardashians on Twitter and Instagram. They're able to sell millions and millions of product. But I think this is just the infancy again. Social commerce is about leveraging relationship and trust and connecting people to products and services that could be beneficial to them. I think actually a lot of these trends that we're talking about in this video of digital transformation can be exemplified actually in my channel and other people's YouTube channels. For example, I'm doing a kind of a live stream from my RV actually, and this is kind of my hangout, my office, but it's also kind of my part-time, and sometimes it's my full-time home with my family. And I'm able to communicate with thousands and thousands of people on a daily basis. And through this means of video streaming, I'm able to establish a relationship of trust, and I'm able to help people and educate people on various principles and various topics as well. And my channel is just one of millions and millions of channels out there, and of very motivated people trying to give content and value to people. I think this is going to increase in the future, and over the next 10 years, we're going to see digital transformation that's going to affect our work, our education, our relationships, and almost everything that we do. Now, to grasp the magnitude of digital transformation, I think is advantageous for an investor because you can kind of evaluate companies in that context. But on the flip side, there's also dangers of digital transformation, in my opinion. As people move more into digital experiences, people can be more removed from physical relationships or actually physical nature as well. I'm a big believer that nature teaches us things that are just intangible. And I think it's those intangible things that aren't appreciated as much in the digital world. Anyways, I want to hear from you guys. What else do you think is going to go through a digital transformation over the next 10 years? And what kind of investment opportunities do you see? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If this video has been helpful, please like it and consider subscribing to my channel. We're looking at investment topics from different angles, asking that extra question and really trying to probe to get to the bottom of things. I'm on Twitter at HeyDave7, and we'll see you in my next video. Thanks.